I'm Phil, and welcome back to Actuality of Being. And I appreciate you coming back around. I know it's been a minute on videos. I've been here, as you're seeing, living where I'm working for a while. Almost done here. Much more video-wise to come. What led to this video was a conversation about relationships, and somebody asked if I would do a video kind of just giving my insights or my 2 cents on relationships, which I contemplated about, was happy to do, but as far as what the content would be or what I would share. And what I found was that I kept going to the same place. And one distinction came to mind, and hopefully you've seen my prior videos and at the very least have some sense that what's being said is that there is a source to experience, to reality, to you, and that's kind of what I want to hone in on some more, and that source is unthinkably, unbelievably, and incomprehensibly unconditional love, infinite unconditional love. And a lot of what I've offered in previous videos are insights that I've had into subtleties or intricacies of this, and hopefully how to kind of bring this into your life, so to speak. What came to mind with relationships in that regard, or as a continuation to the info that I've shared in videos, is the distinction between a relationship and communion. So there is a source, awareness of whether or not you are that source is really the variable, or what could be in question, the forgetting and the remembering, if you will. One way to say this is to recognize that you have a source, and everyone else has a source as well. It's the same source, it's the same love. But to be mindful of this, I think stands to bring a lot of clarity to things. One way to say this, to be mindful of when you are supporting somebody, helping somebody, holding space or listening for somebody so they can express, and in expressing allow some discord or some thoughts or some beliefs to untangle naturally just through expression. It's another thing to cross a line, so to speak, such that you're sort of trying to be their source for them, and not recognizing that they too have a source. So it's not the easiest thing to draw distinctions to, but what comes to mind is having a family and having kids, that it's obviously clear that there's a financial responsibility to kids. So you might say that that's supportive. So my young ones who are still in school, that support looks like income at my end and providing. So, you know, food, shelter, clothing, and to me, also supporting their dreams, their endeavors, their interests, helping with what I can. But there's a certain line in terms of emotions that I could cross, and that's what I'm trying to point to with the words not being their source. There's empathy and compassion to do whatever I could do, really without any limit at all, to ease or prevent any suffering that my kids would experience. It's a particular place, that place there, because I can kind of cross the line where I'm trying to be their source, where I'm trying to be what helps them feel better about what they're focused on or what they're thinking. And I'm aware that it simply doesn't work that way. And when I cross that line, it might be too strong of language to say that it's like a codependence or an enablement or whatnot. That's a bit strong, but it can actually be prohibitive of them knowing and experiencing and feeling communion. So how am I using those words? So relationship has support, it has different responsibilities that are fulfilled, and I would say relationship is between a person and a person. Whereas communion is a bit different. So is there a relationship, let's say, between Phil and Phil's source? That is where I would suggest the distinction of communion, because it's not the same in the two or dualistic sense as a person-in-person relationship would be. So hopefully what's dawning or being communicated or being considered or realized is you are not the, you are the source. You are the source of everyone, but everyone has the same source. So in that sense, you're not the source for everyone. You're not responsible for the emotional discord or alignment for everyone. And when you kind of cross that line, it can be with the best of intentions. It can be obviously from a place of love, but I guess that's what led me to this video, is just to suggest some mindfulness there, that if, let's say, a specific example, let's say that somebody is experiencing suffering or discord, and they are not aware that what they're experiencing is the discord of the thought. So they very much are, in their experience, attributing that discord or that uneasy, undesirable feeling to their situation, to someone else, to what somebody else said, or any one of 10,000 things. In a way, this is conceptualizing or abstraction, or they are, in a sense, going away from their source, and that's precisely what they're feeling or what discord is. One way to say it is, I'm thinking something. Source, the real me, unconditional love, the eternal truth, isn't thinking the same thing. So as a subtle distinction, I do want to say that this is for communication. I'm by no means trying to suggest that unconditional love thinks. It's just a way to communicate it. So if I'm focused on a thought or a perspective about anything, and I'm feeling an emotion on the scale, and again, refer to prior videos or have a look at the emotional scale on my website. If I'm feeling emotions lower than contentment on the scale, if I'm attached to the thought or perspective and very much believing that, it very much seems like someone or something is making me feel that emotion, and we often internalize this as if the emotion is about me. And in the writing or the verbiage on the emotional scale page, there's a lot about the key recognition that the emotion isn't about me, and it's also not about anyone else. And a good way to say it is that the feeling of the emotion, again, lower than contentment, is that what I'm thinking or the perspective I'm holding on something is in discord with the eternal me, the actual me, with the true nature, and that's what I'm feeling. So if I, as a parent, cross that line and am offering to be that which makes them feel better, and again, there really is no black and white. So there are some occasions where that is, in my opinion, the better way to go. But I can't be a supplement in a relationship for someone's communion with Source. The best help that I think I or any of us can really offer, generally speaking, is to be in communion, in alignment, in the beyond thinking, beyond believing, beyond considering, but in knowing and feeling the reality, the real-time reality, the aliveness of the communion or the relationship between person and Source. The best thing that, to the best of my estimation, the best thing that any of us can do for each other outside of practical matters of support is to know that communion and be in, so to speak, that communion, and to help someone else arrive at more clarity in that the emotions, in what emotions are, in that their own inner experience of emotion is that discord or alignment between the truth or the unconditional love that we all are and that this hypothetical person is, and the thoughts. Anything else can kind of muddy that. This can help somebody with arguably one of the greatest revelations one can come to know or experience in life, which is that these emotions which are felt aren't about me. They're about the thoughts that I'm aware of, the perspectives that I'm aware of. And just to highlight this and really to draw attention to what an unbelievable tool the emotional scale is, and how useful and practical it is in everyday life and in relationships. So often we try to, we have ended up in a place of discord or an undesirable emotion, or simply not liking how I'm feeling, and we're trying to get from there to feeling great, to an emotion that's above discord, just enthusiasm or passion. We all want to feel that. We all want to, if we're not there, we all want to get there and be feeling there. Key distinction, just like the recognition that the emotions are not really about me. It's not an inward, it's an outward. It's what I'm experiencing, and that's what it's, the communion with Source, with unconditional love, with the truth, is relaying. In that same way, I'll say it this way, because direct experience is king. So don't, I'm not suggesting that you believe anything when I'm saying that this cognitively clicks. What I'm suggesting is that you actually explore this and implement this and try this and directly experience what I'm suggesting and see for yourself if it's accurate. If the emotional experience is anything, when you look at the scale, if it's anything less than contentment, a simple way to say it, maybe overly simple, but a simple way to say it is, you've got something that you're focused on mentally to let go of. there is not a need to get something or someone or whatever to make you feel better. That essentially is a certain kind of seeking that we try and try and try again, and surely there can be a strong case for that one must do that. That one in a sort of that's just how it is way. One must seek the happiness and the love from the 10,000 things to come to that communion and that realization for oneself. So in that same way, give consideration, but more so try this today. Try it anytime, all the time, in my opinion. If you notice, I'm not quite feeling like I want to be feeling. I'm not feeling grounded. I'm not feeling excited. I'm not feeling eager. I'm not looking forward to things. Instead of trying to get there, instead of looking to someone or something to help get you there, go to the non of life, the letting go, the surrendering. Consider that, okay, I've already got a perspective or a thought that I'm focusing on that is in my vibration, so to speak. And it's in the letting go of that I reach contentment, which is really just having let go of any conditions and being perfectly fine with only this moment as it is, not needing it to be different to be content. Again, I'm not talking about eagerness and passion, just contentment. The only place feeling is here. The only time feeling is now. It's never in a past and a future. It's never, and scrutinize this for yourself, but while it can seem like it in a collective conditioning way, good feeling, happiness, it's never coming from anywhere. You're the source. It's arising of you. So if I haven't made it clear, I guess what I'm saying is don't try to be somebody's source. Recognize they have a source. If you're carrying the weight, the responsibility, the notion, the facade that you're responsible for somebody's emotions or for somebody's development of their own communion with the source that they are, let that weight go. There's obviously things that are an individual's responsibility, but it can actually be prohibitive of somebody realizing that communion and the ultimately realizing the truth of love. We can get in the way without even realizing that we are. And then even beyond that, this is something that would have sounded too fantastical, wishful thinking to me at a point younger. So I'll say it this way. I've ventured into that communion. I've experienced a complete re-understanding of emotion, and that I humbly cannot think that communion, but I also cannot be without it. There is no possibility, there's no situation where I'm not feeling that which I am, or not feeling that which I truly am. It's always the case. Thoughts arise that it's not the case. What I'm suggesting is even when thoughts arise that it's not the case, it is the case. And it is precisely what the emotions are and what one is feeling when said thoughts arise. So I like to think that there's a spiritual term, the message. People say that a lot. I didn't get that before. So there's not really messengers. There's just the message. I'm not trying to be someone's source. When I'm mindful of it, I'm not trying to be someone's source. But I am trying to spread the message. And that message really is that you have a source, that source is unconditional love, and that you are that source. And I don't think it's undying optimism. It's just known. It is what is. In my experience of that, in sharing the message, that's what's being shared, is for the suggestion that you can understand emotion, and you can understand that emotion is, in a sense, guidance, is the communion, and that it's ever present, it's never missing, it's never not there, it's never not experienced, so to speak. And that the term tipping point comes to mind, and that maybe there would be, I think it's inevitable, really, honestly. Do we expedite it is the question for every individual one of us. I think the way to say it is that all of our relationships can be that communion. I can see that it can be. I'm experiencing that it is. But like everything, it's up to you. Check out the emotional scale, practice with it, use it. Try not to write it off as woo-woo or Phil's stuff. It's not mine. I didn't come up with it. I learned it from Abraham Hicks, found it there. It's the simplest, clearest, most easily understandable and employable tool, and that's why I'm talking about it. There's hundreds like it. I explored those and tried those out as well, and they all just seemed a bit convoluted by comparison. So that's what I'm suggesting. If you have questions, let me know. If you have suggestions for videos, I appreciate that. I always welcome that. And there's no question or suggestion that is outside of what I would be happy to address or talk about, or just offer whatever 2 cents I have. So thank you again. Much more to come. I do want to leave you with this. There's a certain click where at least in my experience, everything, all of this that I'm sharing, this relationships and communion, truth, self-realization, actually realizing love, and making a dream board. There's videos coming about this, and I'll share whatever insights I can. But in the meantime, I want to leave you with that suggestion in a very specific way, which would be to notice if you don't have a dream board, and I should explain a bit what that is. It's essentially a dry erase board. I recommend getting a large one, like 3 by 4 feet, and specifically that's double-sided and on wheels. so that it is very front and center. You might think of it as life being a sea of relativity, and the dream board kind of acting as an absolute stake or set point. So no matter where the mind goes day to day, what's on the board remains the same, and makes it easy to focus on what you want. Makes it easy to focus on thoughts which are aligned, which feel great, which manifest or create or lead to you experiencing what you desire to experience. So if you're open-minded and hearing the suggestion, and you're with me on that, and you're interested in ultimately this message and this self-realization and all of these dots connecting, they might not right now, but if you're interested in that, the notion that they do and realizing that they do, notice it. If you do not have a dream board, notice there is not one. In the simplest sense, look around your place and notice there isn't one. The thought arises from this sharing, from the message. The thought arises to try it out, to see. And if you stop and pick one up, or if you order one, when there then is one, notice, just like you notice there isn't one, when there is one, notice there is one. And take a second to reflect on how that manifested, that there is one. Notice the thought arose, the thought felt good, the thought was focused on, and something that was not there now is there. It's a bit like trying to see if the refrigerator light is on when the when the door is closed. And ultimately what we realize is you don't need to know that. You just need to know the mechanism there involved and how that works. And I'll elaborate more in the future or offer more. But again, in the meantime, that's something I want to leave you with. Consider it. Please consider it and order one. And just like there's no board in your home, and then there is, and when you trace that back, while you can certainly explain it, I went online. The reason it's here is because I went online and I ordered it on Amazon, and then it came from UPS, and now it's here, and Phil's woo-woo and fantastical whatnot. But you really have to notice. We could write off as in cover with thought miracles. Can't explain a miracle. That's the nature of it. But again, just notice if a thought story which explains there is a past, there is a my past, there is a me, I bought it, it took money, it's here because someone delivered it. I'm not necessarily saying that these things aren't accurate or that these aren't true, but I also am saying that it only seems that way in believing the thoughts. You're the source, you're the creator. There's never been an exception to the link between what thoughts and perspectives and stuff you're focused on and how your experience is unfolding. It is absolutely one, and thoughts arise that there are separations, separate things, separate objects, separate people, etc. Experientially, yes. Actually, no. That's what it's impossible to say, because these words are separate words, and whatever meanings you have, that's what arises. But that's the beauty of the term, the message. It's not anything I'm saying, and it's not anything you're hearing. But if you're feeling it, you're getting the message. So try that out. And I would love to hear back from anybody on how that experience goes. That is when that clicks, that's one of the greatest experiences in experience for me. It's one of the greatest joys. And then to hear years down the road, from having started doing these sessions some number of years ago, to hear just really what it unfolds to from there. It's just really, it's just really a beautiful thing, and it's just really a joy and a lot of fun to be a part of that. So if you get one, when it comes, just like you notice there isn't one, the thought arises, there's focus, now there is one. In the exact same fashion, try not to take creation for granted. Try not to take that you are the creator for granted. Look at the blank board. Look at the marker in your hand. Notice there's thoughts arising seemingly here. Kind of hard to pinpoint that, but I'll just say seemingly here. And then there's focus on them. And there's a blank board. And then when you write a single word, it could be anything you want. I mean, it could be a sandwich, it could be a relationship, it could be $1 million, it could be anything that you want. It's not there. After you write it, notice now it is there. And notice that's how creation's happening. You're experiencing, there's stuff you don't prefer, there's experience you do prefer. When you focus on what you do prefer, more of what you prefer is the arising of your experience. So if hopefully some things click here, one thing I hope clicks is there's this way of going about it day to day. Yeah, there's stuff I like, there's stuff I don't like, there's stuff I want, there's stuff I don't want, but it just isn't tangible at all. But that's actually perfect. That's infinite being. That's it's pure potential. And this that we experience is that potential, and it's pure spontaneity. It's not. There's no consistency whatsoever, but thought, like all things, thought makes it so. So see, find out. Notice it isn't there, then it is there. There's nothing on it yet. Thought arises, the hand writes it, that's creating, now it is there. Then look for it in your experience. Be in perception and in feeling. When you write it, you've told the universe. The universe is super smart, and it doesn't need to be told again and again and again. And in truth, it's already known even before you wrote it. It's already known. It's already manifest. It's already done. But that's a whole video to unpack that. For the time being, let me just leave you with that. Try it. If you feel you can certainly manifest $1 million, write that. If where you're at, so to speak, is what you really feel is true for you, indicative of your beliefs, consider that, and consider starting with something smaller, something simple that you don't see every day. Write that on there. Know that it's in creation, it's manifest, it's right there. It wasn't, now it is. It is in the universe, so to speak. The universe is becoming it already. The evidence is that it's right there, and it wasn't. And then let the thought go. Don't keep thinking there's some effort involved where you have to focus on it or you have to think a certain way or anything. It really is as simple as the whole thing's effortless. You're experiencing by default. Your preferences arise without any effort or any work on your end by default. This is just putting them there, noticing that's what manifestation is, focusing on it instead of it being here where, there's good days, bad days, and maybe some days it's like, oh, I'm really feeling the inspiration and I'm totally focused. I know exactly what I want. and then 3 months go by. Instead of any of that type of experience, you wake up every day, there it is. That's what you want. That's what makes life great for you. That's what's exciting. Whatever it is for you, it's what you prefer. You could articulate on that however you like. But see that it does show up. Start with something simple and see that it does show up. Go from there. Thanks again for watching the video and for coming back around. I do appreciate it. And any suggestions or specific questions that I can maybe elaborate on in regard to any of this, just let me know.